Rose looks for Sesse out on the right-hand side. Sesse brings the ball down. He's been a handful all afternoon as Callum Sesse plays it into Ashley. Ashley makes that ball his. Ashley now making his way to the penalty area to Udoh. Back to Ashley! Oh my goodness me! What a goal that is from the returning Ossama Ashley. The last time we saw him was in pre-season and he scored a blinding goal in that particular game. Well, he's equalled that today when it matters in a competitive fixture here in League Two in the Peninsula Stadium. Into the top corner. What a finish. 86 minutes played here. And that is Salford getting the 3 points surely and putting this game to bed. What a finish from Ossama Ashley.
The cherry on the cake, a proper good goal there from our first guest on this week's official Salford City Podcast. Ossama Ashley joins us right at the start of the show this week. Fantastic strike that, mate. Welcome back.
Yeah, no, thank you. Obviously, it's been an unfortunate start to the season for me. Obviously getting injured, but I'm glad I was able to get back and come back with a bang. So some happy days for me.
Speaking of bangs, we should say we're recording the podcast this week on Thursday. Thunder and lightning, in case you're wondering what that noise is in the background. We're also going to be joined shortly by Michael Rose, Dan Udoh, Cole Stockton and the gaffer Karl Robinson as we look ahead to Shrewsbury Town this weekend. But Ash mentioned you coming back from injury there. You're making a habit of these goals, though, because going back to Stockport County and that pre-season friendly, that was a marvellous goal.
Back it comes to Malcolm, corner of the penalty area. Malcolm crosses the ball in, defended only as far as Ashley, goes for goal. And what a strike that is from Ossama Ashley. A thunderous strike into the bottom corner. It was marvellously struck from Ossama Ashley. Very reminiscent of the goal he scored in pre-season last summer at Scotland, but I think that one was actually better. It was a superb strike and Salford get themselves an equaliser. 82 minutes played here at the Peninsula Stadium. It's Salford City 1, Stockport County 1, and what a goal from Ossama Ashley.
Have you been working on this? I mean, is it just...
No, to be honest with you, I ain't really got an answer for that. It just seems like when I don't really think about scoring, I somehow score. So hopefully I just forget this one and hopefully have a few more this season.
And it's a really important goal as well in the grand scheme of things. We've dominated the game. Tranmere have got themselves back into it. Thanks to Dan and Cole, we've got ourselves back in front again. But that goal from you just put it beyond reach for Tranmere Rovers, especially when 9 minutes of added time gets shown as well.
Yeah, of course, it's always great to do that. But I think as a team as well, we probably need to learn how to finish off games properly. You know, having a little bit of a comfortable lead towards the back end of games is something that we're looking to do. So, it's just obviously great for me to score, but we need to start making a habit of it.
And fitness-wise, how are you feeling now you've made that return in all its glory?
I feel great. Obviously, I've worked hard over the last couple of weeks to get myself back to full fitness. Obviously, match fitness is another thing, and obviously that will come with a few games. But overall, I feel fit, feel healthy, and I'm happy. So it's not much to complain about.
No, and you've come back to this squad now. What's your take on the squad now? We've had pre-season, we've had the transfer window. It looks a really strong squad, and Saturday felt like it had all come together.
Yeah, no, we've got an unbelievable squad. I think probably the strongest squad in a league. Obviously, everyone's new, everyone's still getting used to each other, and what we've shown so far is pretty promising. So it can only really get better. Obviously, the more chemistry we build. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Yeah,
that midfield you're in there with the likes of, Mac Howard there. Someone scored a goal, was his comment. And it's true. I get players on when they've performed particularly well and scored a marvellous goal. But just to touch upon that midfield that you're in, there's some quality in there as well. Not just you, but it is going to be driving the club forward, isn't it, this season?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, we've got quality all over the pitch. If you look at the likes of Hadj coming back, Kelly's still out injured. So when he comes back in, everyone's going to be fighting for their places, which is it brings good competitiveness to the team, and everyone's obviously raising their standards, raising their games, and just brings the best out of everyone.
And this week we're going to be talking about the Shrewsbury game on this week's podcast. Your thoughts on this challenge? It's a good squad they've got. I think where they are in the league table might be a bit deceiving, and they've got their first win on Saturday against Barnet. So what's your thoughts?
Every game's a challenge, but we can't look at their squad being good. I mean, look at the players we got, so it doesn't really scare us, doesn't really faze me, myself. I don't really care who we play against, to be honest with you, so it'll be tough like every game. So we just got to turn up and do the business. If we do that, then we'll take the 3 points.
And last question, Ash. Easy question to answer. Good to be back.
It's excellent to be back.
So Dan Udoh starts this afternoon, Salford City's deadline day signing, who joined the Ammies on Monday after spending a year or so with Wycombe Wanderers in League One. Real looking forward to seeing him in action this afternoon.
Wasn't just about Ossama Ashley's goal, it was also about this man here who made his debut. Dan Udoh joins us now, and Dan, that was a great debut from you. No goal, admittedly, but you're involved in all three.
Yeah, as a striker, obviously you gutted not to get a goal. Should have got one, goalkeeper saved, but obviously delighted, most importantly, to get 3 points. And then the team, it's good for the team, it's good for us moving forward, so yeah, can't complain.
And it's going to be a corner to Salford, which Luke Garbutt's going to be taking. Garbutt swings the ball in there, headed clear by Turnbull. Grant can receive the ball back in midfield, plays it back out to Garbutt from the right, first time ball in, cleared only as far as Botchu on the volley, falls to Udoh. Oh, good save by Murphy again, point blank range with his right foot. It was all but certainly going to be a debut goal there for Dan Udoh. He thought he did everything right, but he didn't count on Joe Murphy just sticking out his right leg.
It was a great save by their goalkeeper. You did everything right, didn't you? And you must have thought, this is it, but he just stuck out his right leg.
Yeah, obviously I tried to keep game state and keep it game related as well, where I say to myself, I'm my biggest critic, so I should stick that away, make it 2-1, make it 2-0 in fact, and then they go and score the goal. So I'm thinking, oh no, it's not going to be one of those days. But yeah, the boys helped me out, and Coley stuck one away and then Ash stuck one away, so I can't complain. Just
deserved. I think that the momentum of the game was definitely with us for up until they scored, and then suddenly it all went their way for 10 minutes or so. Yeah, and like the gaffer touched on that afterwards. Obviously teams are going to have their spells, but how we can weather that storm and then impose ourselves on them, and when we have our storm, take the chances and win games. It looks like it's going to chuck it down in a minute, so I'll keep the questions brief to you, Dan. But what's your take on your overall performance that afternoon? I know you mentioned it already about the importance of assists, but those 2 assists you did for Cole's goal, especially for Cole's goal, just dragging those 2 players out, that's worth its weight in gold, really.
100%. I think selfless striker, sometimes I should be a bit more selfish, and I'm working on that. But at the end of the day, it's a team game, and as long as I can help my teammates and they can help me, and we can all go in the right directions.
Now, just to mention for the overall vibe, and you know what's your take now? You've played 90 odd minutes for the team. I mean, an entertaining team, isn't it, to be part of?
It's a full-out attacking team, entertaining team. I remember the training on Thursday at first. I was like, can see what the gaffer wants to do. I'm not sure how we're going to implement it on the match day. And then we get to the match day, and you actually start seeing a lot of the stuff that we're working on the training ground coming out. And it's a dream for an attacker, really, when the team's going full out attack. And obviously the defenders are having to make sure they can keep a clean sheet and stuff, so we can all do that as a team, attack as a team and defend as a team. So we can't really have anything to say bad. And the vibes in training is really good. The boys are really welcoming as well, and buzzing to be here.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, next game is Shrewsbury this week. It's interesting because we're taking on Shrewsbury this week, and Cole Stockton took on one of his former clubs in Tranmere Rovers last weekend. I mean, it must be mixed emotions for you.
It's definitely mixed emotions because, I spent a good 5 years there, enjoyed my time there, still love being around the area and stuff like that. But for me as a player, I'm a professional footballer, so when I step over the line, I have to part that away. If I played my older brother, if he was playing for Shrewsbury, there's no love lost. It's just I'm trying to win a game, and that's what I'll be going out to do with my teammates on Saturday. Shrewsbury are always a tough opponent, but I'm expecting a tough game. They won their last and then drew the last, so they're in as much form as us, obviously, and they've got good players. But obviously we don't take anything for granted or take any team for granted wherever they are in the table. Gaffer sets us up to win games of football, and that's what we're going to try our best to do.
Good stuff. Dan, last question. We caught up last time we spoke was obviously when you signed for the club. You're a game into it now. Having fun?
Definitely. Well, we won the game, so winning games of football means fun, so can't complain. If we can keep winning games of football, you'll still see me smiling. And if we're not, you'll see me smiling, but I'll be sulking a lot more.
Well done, Udoh. Big thank you for joining us, and all the best this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Garbutt to Turton. Turton, the right-hand side of the halfway line, delivers a diagonal ball towards Udoh. Udoh's onside, heads the ball back for Stockton! Salford are back in front. The two centre-forwards there combining. It's a good ball from Turton into the penalty area. Udoh heading the ball back. And there was Cole Stockton, the former Tranmere Rovers man, scoring his first goal of the season away at Wigan in the trophy midweek, and scoring his first league goal of the season today on the following Saturday. Salford back in front, it's 2-1.
Well, we're now joined by Saturday's goal scorer Cole Stockton. And Cole, I don't know if you know this stat, but that was your 50th appearance for the Ammies on Saturday, and a good way to mark it.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's always been a pleasure. Every game I've played, and I've loved it. And it's always nice to get a goal and 3 points.
It was a good week overall for you, wasn't it? I mean, you scoring your first goal last week at Wigan, and then the goal on Saturday. I mean, how are you feeling after this past week?
Yeah, no, really good. It's always nice to get a couple of goals also, and then you sort of get that off your shoulders then, and then like I know and I'm confident with, and I don't worry about that they're going to keep flowing.
Why does that happen to strikers? Because you've been around the block a few times. How's it? You know, you have these lulls, and then suddenly it all clicks into place all of a sudden.
It's hard to say really, because it's not confidence at all. No, a lot changes, doesn't it? Personnel, bodies come in, bodies come out. How you get used to playing with, creating chances for each other, and like I said, it's a slow burner. It's going to take a while to change and adapt, and which it has. And I think it's only a matter of time now where we do put plenty past someone.
And one of those added personnels to help you out was obviously Dan Udoh, who started his first game on Saturday. Did a very good job of dragging away those two players for you.
That's it, you know what I mean? He's very experienced as well, and I know him very well, mostly just off playing against each other and appreciating each other's trade as a player. So, and like I said, it's always nice to play alongside him, and then we picked up a relationship quite quick as well. And long may it continue.
And it's not just him, is it? I mean, when you look at that supporting cast coming through from the midfield and at the wing backs, I mean, your hold-up play as well on Saturday was very good, I thought. Yeah,
it's what I do with that, and score goals, and there's a lot more to it, but they're the most noticeable ones. But no, we've got threats all over the pitch, and we like to utilise them as much as we can.
Let's talk about Shrewsbury this weekend. They're a very experienced defence. They've got players who've achieved promotion out of this level of the game. I mean, what's your thoughts on this challenge?
Yeah, we're aware of their threats and strengths and whatnot. We'll respect it in certain ways, but we'll do our work on them and apply ourselves to them where they can worry about us.
Well, Cole, big thank you for joining us, and well done on Saturday.
Top man, thank you.
Cole Stockton there joining us here on this week's official Salford City podcast, and we're now joined by Michael Rose. And you've, like Cole Stockton, you've had a good week, starting off with Wigan, making your debut, and then a full 90 as the lightning just flashes overhead. The full 90 on Saturday. I mean, how are you doing? Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, really good. Obviously, it was good to get my debut against Wigan. It was probably a perfect game for me, to be honest, because they were a bit of a young team, so it was a good game for me to get used to playing again. And then just got thrown in on Saturday. I don't think it was the plan to start with, but had to play. But sometimes that's obviously the best way to do it. Enjoyed it. Good. It was a good win. I thought we were pretty dominant in the game, so can't complain.
Yeah, how difficult is that? Because obviously the last time we spoke, it was the day you signed for the club, and you were saying you're going to work hard now to get up to match sharpness. But I mean, were you at match sharpness for Wigan?
No, not really, to be honest. No,
you wouldn't know. That's a compliment.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Yeah, but no, to be fair, I think that's just where I was at. It was kind of, obviously I didn't have a pre-season, so you've got to kind of be a little bit careful. And I only played 45 against Wigan, which was probably the right thing to do. As a player, you want to just stay on and play, but you've got to listen to obviously the specialists and stuff like that. So, but also it's, as a player, sometimes it's good to just get thrown in and then you have to just deal with it as you go. But I'm professional. I know how to look after myself. So yeah, it wasn't a problem.
So talk us through the Tranmere Rovers performance then. I mean, you started there. I mentioned this against Wigan. It's a very experienced battle line with yourself, Brandon Cooper and Luke Garbutt in there, isn't it, with Mark Howard behind you. So I suppose that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. We've all got a lot of experience, and we can all definitely help each other, especially in games. And I think that kind of experience came, when Tranmere had that. They had a good 10-minute spell in the second half where we gave them the goal, and then they got a lift from it. But we managed to see it out. Because I think overall in the game we were very dominant. You know what I mean? We had loads of attempts on goal, probably not enough on target, but just so many attempts, and it shows the type of football that we want to play as well, especially at home. We want to be on the front foot and dominate games, which I thought we did, and I really enjoyed it. And I liked the way how we did handle the sort of 10-minute spell that they threw at us, and then we went on and got the second and the third goal. So I think it was a really good afternoon.
Football's a weird game, isn't it? That momentum shift after they scored, and it was a goal out of nowhere, a well taken one in all fairness, but still out of nowhere. And then there was a noticeable shift. It was crucial we rode that wave the way we did.
Yeah, because I definitely think we were in control of the whole game. And the thing is, you normally in games like that, teams are going to have a spell, and it will come at some point. You just don't know when it will come in the game. And it's just having to manage it and try and see it out as best you can. And I think we actually did. I know they had a couple of chances that could have went either way, to be honest. But you can't have a perfect performance all the time. But yeah, it was just the way I thought. We seen it out, and then we managed to go on and get the second and third. I think that was the thing that impressed me.
And the other thing to say is, well, the set pieces, the amount of set pieces we have, you and Brandon in that the opposition penalty area. It isn't going to be long, is it, before you get your head on one of them and score, it looks like?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. And we had loads at the weekend, and I thought we were quite dangerous from it. I was pretty surprised how we never managed to score from one. We managed to keep the ball alive in second balls, and I think as well for us as defenders, we've got to help and chip in with goals. We can't just rely on forwards and the 10s and stuff getting all the goals. We've got to, if we want to be successful this season, we need to get goals from everywhere, and set plays, I think, in this league are going to be so important. So like myself and the other boys at the back, we've got to try and chip in with that.
We're going to hear from the gaffer shortly talking about Shrewsbury this weekend, but your thoughts. Let's hope there's no thunder and lightning on Saturday, but this is going to be a tough game because they've got some experience in that squad.
Yeah, they've got experienced players. I've played against most of them. It'll be a tough game, especially away from home. But I think we've got to go down there and remember what we did really well on Saturday at home and try and take that into the game this weekend. But yeah, like any game, I think the league table, I think their results haven't shown, their performances, where they're on the table. I think they're a better team than where they are. So we just need to be at it and just focus on ourselves and what we can do well, and hopefully that's enough to win the game.
And Michael, last question. We've touched upon it in this interview, but you're off and running now. How much are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been a bit of a mad couple of weeks. I've been in and out of hotels and into my flat and stuff, but I've just got settled now, so I'm settled in a flat, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. All the boys are brilliant. Welcome me straight away. And I just want to start playing the games now and try and get right up the top of the table.
Good stuff. Well, Michael Rose, big thank you for joining us, and all the best this weekend.
Cheers, thank you.
Michael Rose there joining us here mid-thunderstorm on this week's official Salford City podcast. And let's look ahead now to our next match as Salford City on Saturday travel to Shrewsbury Town. And let's hear the pre-match thoughts of our head coach. Here's Karl Robinson.
Karl, big thank you for joining us ahead of Shrewsbury Town. How's preparations going?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's been nice having a full week. Obviously a possibility to get one or two players back into training. As you always know, when you go through so many games, the first 3 weeks that you have, there's always a few complications at the beginning of the week, and you sort of have long enough to sort of plan your way through that. We've done an awful lot of physical training, a lot of gym work, which we haven't been able to do for a while, and we're in a good place.
And obviously a spring in the step after the Tranmere Rovers performance last weekend. Have you had a chance to digest how good that was?
Yeah, but it's got no relevance other than the fact that it's points on the board for the league campaign. Obviously, we've now got to try and replicate that on Saturday as well, to try and find a more consistent output. And we'll try and do that. We'll try and find ways this week to make ourselves exciting and on the edge, and to make ourselves as as aggressive as we possibly can against a very good Shrewsbury team.
I spoke to Dan Udoh before, and he was saying how exciting it is to play in that side. Obviously, he played his first game last week, and a great performance from him. That's quite a compliment.
Well, yeah, he obviously got 2 assists, and obviously assisted the penalty as well. So you'd argue he had a hand in all 3 goals. And for as much as we signed him to be a goal scorer, we've also signed him because he's brilliant linking up the play. He's unselfish in certain aspects of his game. So yeah, he's a real positive for us. But it wasn't just Dan's performance. Or Cole Stockton was one of his better performances since he had the Salford shirt on, if I'm being honest. I thought the amount of running that he did, how he retained the football, how he brought other people into play, I thought his performance was as clean as I've seen. So from that perspective, it was great. And there was you could go through the whole team. We know Dan's going back to the club that you'd argue sort of put him on the map in some ways. So he'd be excited about going back to Shrewsbury. But we know we've got to put on a very professional performance. And I like Shrewsbury watching the game at the weekend. They got the first win away on the road to Barnet, and some really good footballers and a lot of fluidity. Chuck signed in the week, some of I've signed twice. So the squad's littered with really good players, and players that we know really, very well, and we know we're going to have to be at our best.
Yeah, there was a resilience to Salford on Saturday as well, because we had all that possession, all those chances, and Tranmere, came back into the game. But we rode that way.
Yeah, but that's League Two in some ways. That you can be so dominant and humanic, and if it falls to the right type of forward, that they can punish you very, very quickly. And all of a sudden, all your good work's been, after all that possession, all them opportunities to score, one human error leads to the opposition getting back on level terms. And then we rode our luck for a little bit, for maybe 10 minutes. But I think after that, I thought we looked at a very, very good football team, and we're really, very pleased how we've seen the game out.
You mentioned Shrewsbury already, but when you look at the experience of that squad, they have picked up their first league win of the campaign last weekend. That does make them more difficult now.
Obviously, but people just see the results when you play against these teams, or when you build up to playing teams. You're playing Shrewsbury, and they look at multiple results. But when you look into the results and you delve into the numbers, and you delve into the performance levels and how many opportunities they created, that you see that they were very well coached, and they're a very difficult team to play against. And certainly when you ever go away to any team in the EFL, it's always going to be difficult. And the advantage always sits on the laps of the home team. So we know that we're going to have to outperform what we did on Saturday against Tranmere.
And just to go back to that conversation we've had the last couple of weeks, ever since Wigan and the transfer window closed, just the selection headaches you've got. But that means that you can pick the players appropriately, doesn't it, really, for these challenges that you've got against Shrewsbury?
I don't believe you have selection headaches. You have selection, you have questions that you ask yourself, but it's trust me, it's more of a headache when you don't have them, and you moan that you want more players, you want this, you want that. I think it's a little bit two-faced to myself to then moan that I have headaches in selection. Trust me, I'd rather have these sorts of conversations than the ones that we had last season. So from that perspective, these aren't headaches, these are great conversations that we have on a regular basis, and that ability to be able to be selective with your team, but put demands on them on training and put demands on individual games. If you don't perform, they know there could be a while before you get back into that team. That level of competition within the team is what drives competition in the games. And I'm a big believer in training should be very aggressive, should be hard working, and that's almost like your chance to get into the team on the Saturday, and you want to make the game on the Saturday as easy as you possibly can, and the only way you can do that is by training above the level. And I think this week the players have certainly done that. But you come up against a very, very good Shrewsbury team that you know you're going to have to beat your best.
Karl Robinson there, joining us here on this week's official Salford City podcast, speaking to me on Thursday. Well, that's it for this week's show. A big thank you to Karl and all the players for joining me this week, and thanks for bearing with us and the thunder and rain on this week's show. But next up for Salford sees the Ammies travel to Shrewsbury Town on Saturday afternoon. It's a 3:00 kickoff, and for ticketing information and for previews, head over now to the club website at salfordcityfc.co.uk. And if you can't make the game in person as well this weekend, don't forget you can join me with live coverage, salfordcityfc.co.uk/live for more information. But that's it for this week's show. A big thank you for joining me, and you have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.